This is my run in Detroit, running to the abandoned Joe Louis Arena in downtown Detroit. This run is running along Detroit's waterfront. I'd literally just got into Detroit, just parked my car, checked into that motel, which was where I was coming out of, and went straight for a run. I drove in from Chicago. It was the hottest day I had in my whole America trip. I kind of associate with Detroit and snow, so it was about 34 or something, which is in the early 90s Fahrenheit for those that speak American. So this is pretty much the only thing I do in Detroit. I do this run. I was only in Detroit for this day. Stayed over before I was back in the car. If I remember correctly, I nearly get hit by a car. That's just come back to me at the bottom of this junction, I believe. That's reason enough to watch this video, I guess. But yeah, this was the run to the Joe Louis Arena, the Joe, as I believe it's affectionately called. Oh, there we go, that was me nearly getting hit by a car. Americans, eh? Target or spirits. It was less dramatic than I thought. The Joe Louis Arena, built, I believe, in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. Like football grounds in England, a lot of the cool, old, iconic ones are closing down to be built with prettier, newer, modern stadiums and football arenas in America, and probably stadiums. But they don't have the charm of the old ones, and the Joe is an arena I used to hear a lot about when I was a kid and I was watching the wrestling. Always heard of the Joe Louis Arena. Never knew who he was, but it always cool things happened in the Joe. One of the first events I ever watched was Survivor Series 91. That happened at the Joe. A couple of other Survivor Series in wrestling happened. Kurt Angle made his debut, but it's also more affectionately known for, I imagine, in Detroit, for the Detroit Red Wings, I think that's right, the hockey team that played there. I believe they're a fairly big hockey team, and I believe they had quite a good 90s. I don't speak from any education on this subject. And the Detroit Pistons played there. I think they had a good end to the 80s, stroke early 90s. But the Joe Louis Arena is abandoned now. This is May of 2018. I'm speaking in March of 2019. It was abandoned at this point. And for those of you who don't know Detroit or the area, Detroit is on the border with Canada. So the skyscrapers to the left, that's Canada. Windsor, Canada, I believe. And these buildings to the right are famously Detroit. Often if you see Detroit skyline, you see those buildings. Well, you will see those buildings. That was just a brief intro to the video. It's a really, really slow run. I'm going really slow. I'm basically walking, to be fair, aren't I? Really hot, really windy. Not the best conditions for me to run. Really tired, but I like excuses. So I'll probably drop in closer to the arena, but enjoy America and Canada. I don't record the running back so much, just the run there really. I think it was pretty much a walk back. I caught up with someone when I was running back, just as I do. Clearly a tourist wearing a football shirt, travelling and struggling. And it was quite an interesting chat. The guy was homeless in Detroit and he was telling me all about the area, and as I was a tourist, why I was visiting. Don't I hear about the things that go on? Well, Detroit, I mean, there's good parts and bad parts of every city. He was telling me about how this area has totally been rejuvenated over the years. Which I thought going to the hockey or the basketball or the wrestling, people would have walked down here. They still might have, I don't know. But I thought it was a cute little walk to have done to see the wrestling that night or the hockey. But it's a nice area. I quite enjoyed it anyway. Nice little run. Not every day you get to stand in America and look at Canada. I'll probably never do that again, so I quite enjoyed the run. That's, I'm sure you're a reasonable intelligence, you know that's a monorail going above me. And is that must be Cobo Hall to my right? Famous well, I know of it because of a wrestler falling off it and dying and coming back and then fighting. You've got to love wrestling. But I'm coming up to the arena now. That's the arena on the left. As I said at the start, it is abandoned now. No more. It is March as I speak, March 2019, and I believe demolition starts at the beginning of April, so in about 3 weeks. But it's an arena that's been there for generations. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people would have walked up those steps to see their favourite band, Paul McCartney. The Stones have played there, or the Red Wings, or the Pistons, or the wrestling. But now it's no more. And as you can tell by me getting up these steps, I'm close to being no more. I think that's the thing about abandoned places that fascinate people, is somewhere where so much life and activity, and in this particular case so many generations of family have shared moments in that particular building, and now it's just desolate and quiet. It was a run that I earmarked before I went to America. We went to the abandoned Joe Louis Arena. It's an arena, as I said, I heard a lot about as a kid and played a part in my childhood of watching wrestling and American sports. So I knew that it'll never be there again. If I ever go back to Detroit, A, I'll be surprised, and B, it won't be there. But I enjoyed the run. I hope you enjoyed watching it. You just have a slow trot back, staring at Canada and being in America. But thank you for your time of watching this video. Have a good morning or afternoon or evening or whatever time it is. With the monorail. Take care.